Are live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, cool. We're doing okay. Yeah, we're on all the things. Welcome to Here Be Dragons, where creativity meets courage and dragons live in the art we create and the lives we lead. I'm Carla Morrow of DragonLady Art, and with me is my co-pilot and dragon rider extraordinaire,
Alan Childers of Alan Childers Art and Illustrations. We're here to talk about dragons we face, the treasure we're after, and the wondrously weird journey of life. Every episode, we'll explore what it takes to face your dragons, or maybe even ride one.
So grab your shields, sharpen your claws, and let's dive in because today we're asking the question that matters most. What dragons are you facing? Hello, Alan.
Hi, Carla.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am upright and conscious. Hooray!
I'm actually just pretty. We were jamming out to that Camelot song just a minute ago, and Ashen
So
World.
good.
I kind of
So good.
I kind of love the whole vibe, the music video vibe. Kind of reminds me of like the music videos back in the day. It's like there's a story and things are going on, and apparently that's a whole genre of like record making that I had no idea that was existed.
The concept album.
Concept album, because I am not musically inclined as that goes.
Yeah, a lot of the metal music I listen to all is like concept albums. So there's stories, think of like I said, Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yeah, yeah.
Rocky Horror Picture Show is technically, if you listen to the music or you listen to that would be considered a concept album.
Well, I did know that was a story.
Yes. Yes. It's one of my faves. I love it.
How about that?
Yeah, there's Camelot themselves have done, this is probably their fourth or fifth concept album. And then a lot of them, they all are tied together, but as far as like a congruent story, this is probably their third or fourth full past concept album. So I'm excited. It's the first release. It'll be released in August. And it should be fun.
Nice, nice. So,
what dragons are you facing, Alan?
Oh, fuck. You had to ask me. Well, I'm having a creativity blockage, where it's blockage, where I had a day yesterday where I did a bunch of stuff, and I took my social media off my phone. It felt like the phone is where I'm really addicted to it. It's not having social media, because the like having Facebook on a desktop doesn't I don't really do anything for me, but it isn't really addictive for me on the phone. And I can lose a lot of time. So I took them off yesterday, and I was super productive outside, not with art. I was, I gardened, and which is creative in its own way. It's like
creativity comes out in multiple types.
I'm using my creativity for design, for planning my garden, for I wanted to do like sunflowers in my front yard, where I get more the majority of my sun. Um, and I fell down the rabbit hole of regenerative farming, a couple documentaries and a couple YouTube videos, and but I was still productive. So just and I my daughter came over, cooked dinner, cooked dinner and watched the rest of the first Hobbit, and then the entirety of the Desolation of Smaug. So that was
nice.
That's kind of what we've been doing on our Sundays. Is she does laundry and we hang out and watch movies. So, which is, and I cook, and it's an excuse for me to try to cook dinner. So.
Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to like the social media thing, and we're societally upheld to this idea that it's your fault. right? You shouldn't be so addicted. Why can't you just get off social media? Why can't you? But these companies spend billions of dollars keeping us addicted. And
I know.
awesome. I lost my train of thought. Oh, they spend billions trying to keep us like hooked on our phones, right? And
Oh
that's
yeah.
kind of the whole point. And I sent you the video earlier, and it discussed how the problem with apps that try to shut down your social medias is they're still on the phone. So you're still picking up the phone. You're still physically lifting the phone and dealing with that. So the attempt is to try to get you, as you said, you were gardening all day. Well, if you've got a rake in your hands, you don't have a phone in your hands. So
yeah,
and
that was the joy that I had found yesterday. And then to contrast that, like, so my dopamine, I felt like, was surging yesterday without that thing. And then today I had a hard, woke up and had a hard crash with dopamine dipping back below my, like, I can tell when it's not my threshold because usually I'm pretty even keeled. So like I could just tell, because I wanted to draw today. I told you yesterday, like I was pumped for making art. And then I woke up today and it just was not there. So
I think you probably physically wore yourself out too. So I said,
I
said earlier, don't beat yourself up too bad.
I mean, yeah, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm like, working all day in the yard probably wasn't like the best idea, but it felt good though. It felt good to be out in the sun and doing that kind of stuff, and it felt good to be unplugged a little bit. But then today it was just like I ran into like where I normally post when I work out, and I ran into this. It was like breaking a seal. Okay, well, I'll just download it to do that, and then I just downloaded them all, and I was just like, oh, the floodgates have opened. And it's like, oh my gosh, I might actually be really addicted to these things, and
Well,
and I
again, they
know
spend
like
billions of dollars to keep you there. That's what they do. The attention economy is,
it's attention farming, and and I noticed that I'm easily radicalized to certain causes, and I think it knows that.
Yes, the algorithm knows you better than you know yourself.
Right. So, I getting away from that is really good, and I think I need more than just a day. Like I need, but also trying to do. Also have a show coming, like a show coming up. We have our podcast. Also have like I have a nonprofit kind of group thing where I'm hosting events too. So I have to get the word out on these events and with hosting them and things like that. So I almost feel intrinsically like tethered to it to a certain degree, and it's kind of like when I quit smoking cigarettes. I didn't quit cold turkey. It took me 3 years to completely quit smoking. But when my daughter was living with me, I was like, well, I'm not going to smoke with her in the house. And then it became, well, I'm only going to smoke outside. I'm not going to smoke with her in the car. I'm not going to light up a cigarette around her at all. I kept putting these little stipulations on myself when trying to quit smoking. And I think that's kind of the way you have to do it with reducing your social media too. It's like you have to put stipulations on things and put stipulations on things. And like, I don't really want to leave social media like altogether. I want to reduce its hold on me. which is really hard to do because they do not optimize like the features for desktop or like they do just for regular apps. So like it is
Right.
completely optimized for mobile and iPad at this point. So,
Yeah, for sure.
but
And
I
I
think
think,
it's
like you were saying,
I think it's a lot.
start by unfollowing some of the groups that you have more radical feelings towards, right? And start unfollowing those or blocking those, or as you said, start small and start putting those boundaries in place just a little bit at a time. And I just, yeah, I there's I'm so, and I've talked about it before on the podcast. I've thought about completely dropping my social media completely. And I was
Yeah.
more active a couple of weeks ago as the Kickstarter launched, but I know towards the Kickstarter was only 15 days, but I know towards the end of the Kickstarter, like I didn't even want to get on socials at all. So I just didn't. So I didn't share as much as I probably should have. But people aren't seeing my
You
posts anyway,
you were
you know?
doing in-person events though too. Like you were peopling a lot more than you normally do.
Yes, for
So and
sure.
you've been in constant communication with people on Kickstarter. By the way, super successful Kickstarter. Why don't we segue into that? Stop focusing on me.
Oh, I see.
why
Alan
don't
doesn't
we?
like the
Why don't we?
spotlight.
Why don't we? Super successful Kickstarter, Enchanted Blossoms. Why don't you tell the folks what the process was like that for you, and did it do as well as you expected, or did it exceed your expectations?
Yeah, it did. It did a lot better than I expected. We ended up just shy of 17,000, and I was watching it like a hawk that last 30 minutes because it would like jump up 100 and then jump up another 100. And I when I started the Kickstarter, I had hoped that I was going to hit 3,000 in the first day, and I was hoping 5,000 at the end of the first week, and then maybe clear 10,000. And we ended up hitting, what was it, 6 or 7,000 the first day, and we were
Yeah.
at 10,000 by that Thursday, which was a weekend. And then I still had like 10 days left, and we hit 16,931 by the end of the clock running out on Saturday. And I have still had people message me asking me if they could get it post Kickstarter, if they could add to their if I had gone the full 30 days, we probably would have hit 20, maybe even a little higher. And if I had more running time. But
Right.
I had reasons that, I needed to get it out, and it still takes 2 weeks to deposit the funds into your account. Kickstarter takes 5% for Kickstarter itself and for their processing fees, which is fine. So yeah, basically I should land with just shy of 16K when the money hits my account, which is good. I set it up so I could float myself through show season if show season wasn't great. So I have money to pay off some bills and things like that, and plenty to invest back into the line and whatnot. So now it's just waiting for the funds to deposit in the account. I have to make the bookmarker. I tried to stay really, really smart with my stretch goals and my packaging and things like that.
You
So everything kind
you
of fits
did
in the same boxes.
you did have to make some concessions early on, and I think you handled that individually per seller with international sales. So
Yes.
I think you were handling international sales as they showed interest, and not just
Mm-hmm.
opening it up completely, which I think is pretty smart because But then also, uh, you also did something where, like, for me, I was unfamiliar with doing something like that, but you offered originals of the
Mm-hmm.
pieces, and I think that really helped put you past like like you were
For
telling me.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, you kept messaging another original sold, another original sold. And I was just like, that's awesome because I know those originals are um, like they're hand done, they're watercolored,
Yeah.
and they're really
I have them
nicely
here
done
somewhere.
pieces that are,
I should find them.
that are. It's fantastic when you can get an original to sell, and I know how hard it is to get an original to sell in person sometimes when you talk value. But it seems like you've cultivated a good email list or buyers that have been buying for you for a while.
Yeah.
That invested in your originals, and that's
my email list is sitting right at around 2,000. And of course, not all of them get the emails. They should, but because of the way even emails are handled these days, not everybody gets them. There's we're more like, I use Shopify because I get 10,000 emails in my Shopify my sub. And even that's we're going to send emails out to the people that are most likely to open them. So out of those 2,000 people, I don't actually know how many of them are receiving my emails anymore. But it was enough that I sold 8 originals. And for 2 of those, I had people reach out. For 3 of those, I had people reach out directly to me and say, hey, I remember this original on the first one. Do you still have it available? And the first Kickstarter was 6 years ago. So the fact that they still remember the original from back then was pretty damn cool. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. There's a few things that if I had done the 30 days, I would have changed it. I would have made all of the originals that I have left available, and people would have had to have messaged me, and then I would have set it up. But there would have been a chart that they could pick from. So I probably would have been able to sell more originals that way and things like that. But the time crunch was.
Looking back, do you think doing your gallery open at the same time helped at all, or?
I'm not sure. I got in a physical copy of the book, and so most of the people that did show up for the gallery opening either had already backed the Kickstarter or were at least aware of it.
Okay, cool.
I didn't have too many people, just Joe Schmoes off the street, come in. It ended up being 20 or 25 people, and the people came from out of town. So Jeff Haney came down from Santa Fe. My in-laws came in from Las Cruces. There was a few other people that came from around the area. But as far as just walk-ins, I think only 2 or 3 people were just oh, we saw that there was a gallery opening and decided to come on in. So I don't know if more lead time or anything like that would have helped there.
You're in a hard area though too, right? You're in a hard.
I am. It's all tourist
kind of area, so.
It's all tourist.
What is your do you even know what your normal amount of people living in that's for just regulars, townies?
Sorry, you broke up. What was the question?
Do you know what the even normal amount of population is for regulars or townies?
Yeah. So Rideau on Hall has 7,000 full-time residents, and then during the busy seasons, we can swell to 30 to 40.
Yeah. So
it's all tourism.
Very seasonal crowd.
It's all tourism, and this is supposed to be our busy season, but because we had the fire 2 years ago and all the floods, there's just not very many people in town, which is very disappointing for people on Midtown. So the bookstore that I work in during as my day job is not getting the foot traffic that even they're used to getting in July. So, and we lost our racetrack completely, which does mean that there are people that are not coming into town to do the races. So there's going to be some struggles coming up and that's okay. But yeah, so I don't know if it was as helpful as I had hoped it would be. I would still do it again, but I might leave myself a little bit more lead time to get the word out. There is also a there's a gallery loop that's coming up, or that was just this past weekend, 4th of July weekend. So I was out of town for Norman when the application was due, and I didn't realize the application was due, so I missed applying for it. But, all things being equal, I'll apply for it next year, and then that will put me on the gallery loop, and that is a big deal. The gallery loop is a huge deal.
Art gallery crawl or something?
Yeah, exactly. And it goes between Rideau, Ruidoso, Nogal, Capitan, and Carrizozo, which are all within about a 40-minute, 60-mile radius of each other. So
Okay, cool.
it's a big loop, but we're all spread out, right? So like Lincoln might be on that, but Lincoln has like all the Billy the Kid stuff. That's where the Tunstall story is. If you know the Billy the Kid story, that's where he was like working when Tunstall was shot, which is what started the Regulators, which is what started the whole Billy the Kid story. The courthouse is there. It was like the biggest thing in New Mexico. Like Lincoln County used to be the seat of the county of Lincoln, so the city of Lincoln, but they had to move it because the Billy the Kid wars was so bad. So now our county seat is Carrizozo and not Lincoln.
I think Independence or Coffeyville is the same for the James Gang. They're popular for that in Kansas. So
yeah, it's very similar. You can do the courthouse, the escape of Billy the Kid, and everyone around town is like, this is where his hideout was, and that kind of stuff. So, but then like Capitan has the Smokey the Bear Museum and the Fire Museum. Like Smokey the Bear, the actual Smokey the Bear was found in the forest around my house. So we're just really spread out. There's a lot to do, but we're really spread out. So the gallery loop is going to encompass all those small towns.
I kind of want to know, because I kind of had the idea. Was bundling a good idea?
I did it as an add-on, and quite a few people did do the add-on. But I did
I knew it
too. So I did I did the Oracle deck. I have to figure out the boxes on the Oracle deck. That's the only hitch in my giddy up, is the book is one size and the Oracle deck is another, and it widens the box, and I'm gonna have to figure out shipping and tissue, but that's all right. I'll just make you come help me ship, since it was your idea.
We'll just bring all the stuff to Oklahoma. We'll pack boxes.
Right. We'll pack it in the but then a lot of people, like, I unlocked the coloring book early. So by Friday morning, we were like $500 away from unlocking the coloring book. And I was like, I'll just unlock it. And I knew that there would be a rush of people on to get the coloring book as soon as I unlocked it. And that's what happened. So that's what kind of threw us up towards the 17K mark, is everybody was like running on to, and people bought multiple coloring books. And the same thing with the calendar. So the add-ons were another copy of the bookmark, which is a Kickstarter exclusive. Once all those are shipped out, they're done. The calendar, which is not a Kickstarter exclusive, you can get that on Amazon right now. The Oracle deck, which you can get on Amazon right now. And like a second book, the paperback, and the coloring book. I did all of them as add-ons so people could kind of make their own bundles. And I think my average sale was like $98, as opposed to just the deluxe book, which the deluxe book sold out in the first 5 days. That was $69. And then people continued to buy the $49 and the $39, which was the paperback and the trade edition. So the trade edition just doesn't have the sketch in it.
Sweet. It's going to be awesome. So you're going to be busy for the next for this fall, aren't you?
I am. I have a feeling I've got shows in September, and I have a feeling I'm just going to end up loading up books and drawing in the hotel room and stuff. If I can get like 10 books done a day, then it'll, work out, or 5 books done a day or whatever. 'Cause all those have sketches in them. And it was limited to 100 books. So I have to do sketches in 100 books.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do for that money.
Yes. Well, and then the book wraps, the dust jackets. I couldn't find a place that would just print dust jackets for me, or that would print them with like foil. So I have to go through a poster company and order 50 posters with 2 dust jackets per poster, and then cut them down myself and then gild them myself. So that's fun.
You don't have to do mine, right? You don't have to do mine if you don't want.
Well, it's just going to be an assembly style. I found some gold paint that I'm really happy with, and we'll just go from there. It's just a little window that'll have a little bit of gold accent in there. It's not like I'm repainting the whole cover. So I know. Do you want a refund now? I want my money back. No,
So, but you also got visited by the Muse during this Kickstarter, and
by
had
the what?
like by the Muse
Oh,
during with this Kickstarter, and you've got like 6 projects or 8 projects rattling around in your brain now that could
yeah.
be interconnected to this project, so you could have a whole
Yes.
series of interconnected things.
Well, what's nice is that the Oracle deck was the original seed, and that was 44 original paintings. And then the book was an extension of the Oracle deck, and I used every single one of those Oracle deck paintings in the book. So the book is 125 illustrations, but 44 of them integrate the Oracle deck illustrations into it. So that kind of cannibalized that. And because I have that many illustrations, I came up with a ton of other ideas, journals and stationery sets and other types of books and things like that that will all use the art that I already have.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be a congruent look. There'll be a, and I can do, what's that?
Puzzle.
And yes, there will be, yes, I will do puzzles. I have assistants for puzzles to help me wrap my head around that. So yeah, I brainstormed. Actually, I was working on that a good chunk this afternoon of taking notes and kind of collecting all the projects together. And I need to find like a stationery manufacturer, and because doing it myself, it's going to end up being $50 a stationery set, so that's not going to work. But yeah, I'm gonna have to. There's a lot of logistic stuff that I have to figure out now, and I'm not like, this is all if I decide to go on with this. I haven't decided if I'm going to yet or not. It's all long term. It's all long term projects. But I would love to do like a book on Victorian letter writing, and that's, the first part of the book is how to write a letter in the Victorian style, and then the second half of the book is like writing exercises on cursive, writing in a cursive style, and I want to do like a pressed flower book. Well, and it's yeah, but it's not just a, practice cursive book. It's something that it's an experience that people can engage in, and now they can get the stationery, and then they have the book, and the book will show them, and it'll tell you how to write like a letter in the Victorian style with, openers and middles, and how to send condolences, or how to send, your grandmother a letter, and how to write this, and
how to do all that?
About letter writing in the back. Huh?
You know how to do all that?
I will when I'm done. I think you underestimate the power of my ADHD.
I know I underestimate mine.
Oh yeah, I can learn anything.
I don't think I utilize mine enough. Like you've got yours down to like, it's a tool in your toolbox. You just like whip it out like a paintbrush, and then I'm like,
it's a little more feisty than that, but I mean, and I've told.
What's
that?
It's like a gardening hose that has a mind of its own.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I gotta, put it in the right part of the yard anyway before it goes berserk. But I realized something a long time ago, and that is I need to want to do the things that I want to do more than I want to carry that story. Right? More than I want to be just somebody who has ADHD, or more than I want to, be somebody who has depression or anxiety. The art was always bigger than any of those things. And so even in the midst of having panic attacks and anxiety, I could still get up and create something, because that was what I wanted more than I wanted the story of being a victim, or the story of being depressed, or things like that. So I'm not saying I'm 100% at it. There's still days like I crashed hard earlier this week, because like I had the gallery opening, and then I had an NDA project for my agent to do, and I cranked out a ton of art for that in about 3 days, and the art opening, and stuff for Kickstarter, and so by the time I think by the time Wednesday hit, I was kind of done. And like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and Saturday, I like didn't do shit because my brain was like, we've been running this marathon Yeah, like Kickstarter is a marathon. So doing shows is a sprint, right? You get in your stuff, you package your prints, you load the car, you drive, you do the show, you come home, you unload, that's it. Usually that's done in about a week to possibly 2 weeks. If you've done the show circuit for a long time, right? I have
You take about 2 days recovery off that, you're good.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I have everything like broken down into bins. And so there's a system there. So I can be ready for a show within less than a week. And the Kickstarter is a marathon. It's months of, the what I had going for me for this one. And the reason I launched it so fast was because I did do that previous Kickstarter where I took a year and prepped it. So I had a lot of the graphics already done. I just reuse the graphics or change some of the numbers on them, but a lot of the edge graphics and things like that I reused. I reused a lot of stuff from the calendar that my agent had me do a month and a half ago.
Yeah, I thought that was superhuman, by the way. Like, I was like, I didn't realize you had a lot of that already done, because I thought, Jesus, she is killing it.
No, don't get me wrong. I was still up till
you just Mary Poppins that shit.
right. Don't throw anything away. Save everything on your computer and your hard drive. But there was a lot of up till midnight changing graphics and readjusting stuff. And I think even you saw, like, I had the graphics all set up and then hated them, so I redid them like the next day.
Yeah.
Like the whole Kickstarter of all the graphics, I just ended up using a different graphic setup. So, which I did have, and I do that. Like, that's how I'm able to do like the graphics for this. I have a template and I just change out, the other stuff. And that's what I'm thinking of branding wise for some of the new products, is everything will be set up as a template and then I just change out the graphics.
You took input too. Like, I think I mentioned, like, the gold flourish looked really good on the cover design. I thought maybe some gold flourish in there that you'd used for the promotion, but it wasn't integrated into the cover. And I was like, I think that would look really great on the cover. Make it look more whimsical. And
and you're the reason I'm hand gilding 100 covers. Carry that guilt upon your shoulders, asshole.
you have like, I mean, there's got to be a printer that can print the gold somewhere out there.
So it's this. I'm sure there is. But it's the cost and the size. So the dust jackets need to be 8 and 3/4, whatever, 8.5 inches by 24, 26, 24, 26 inches to wrap around the whole book. So yeah, that was the problem I was running into, is everyone was like, well, we can do it on a 12 by 18. And I was like, that's not going to work. It needs to be a full dust jacket, but that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
I got a plan and I'm going to do it. But it also means that I'm not going to be doing any art for a little while. So my fine art stuff will possibly be put on hold for a hot minute until the Kickstarter stuff is done. I'll intermix it because I can't do all of Kickstarter and I can't do all of fine art stuff. But
right.
Yeah, I do have my next 4 fine art planings planned out. 6, 8, 6, 7, something like that.
That too. I was thinking, the muse visited you in that way too. Not just in the ideas for this merchandising Enchanted Blossoms out, but also with your fine art ideas too. So the floodgates be openeth. And I think that's something that I'm missing. Like, I know that I am still dealing with some emotional things with grief.
Of course.
But I also remember being hungry for art. I remember being passionate about a project, and having that drive, Brian, what Brian has been killing it on this project that he's doing. And when he talked about get it done, in the video, in our interview with him, Brian W. Parker, Believe in Wonder Publishing, that name drop. I can name drop.
Yes, you can. There's your one.
You know, when Brian talked about that, I remember having that urgency and love and passion for art and that hungriness for it, but I haven't felt it in a while. I haven't felt it in a while. Like I feel
well,
like,
what is
you
it?
know,
The video that Jake Parker did.
like
you need a project,
I feel
not
like
a painting.
yeah. I feel like going through the motions, um, like, and I can make art, like I can, but like art that I'm passionate about, like it's been coming in waves, and I need it to be like more consistent. I need it to be like I need to feel that hunger and that passion for art on a consistent basis, because that's what my addiction should be. That's what because I am an artist. Like that's like this, you know, I could chuck it at the wall, and be just fine. Go get me a house phone, and
Right.
probably. But I know that, like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to rearrange my house 5 times. I'm going to start drawing again. Like there's things that have been taking my attention away and that have numbed my hunger for art, I think. And I don't like that.
Do you want the art more than you want the story?
Do I want
more
the
than you
art
want
more than I want
the story that you're telling yourself of who you are?
Yeah, I want the art more than I want the story. I want to be, you know, consumed with the passion for creativity again. You know, I want that action for creation back, because I think that's where we get mixed up, right? We try to promote, we try to make these little videos, and we try to commodify ourselves to this.
That's why I got burnt out.
This paradigm of a system that does not work for us anymore, and we commodify ourselves because that's what they say you should do, to be a successful artist. But you can be a successful artist anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Well, and like Sarah Dillinger, did you see Sarah Dillinger's post about worrying about Anthrocon?
No, see, that's the thing. We can't.
Oh, that's good. No, that's great. That's great. That's great.
I didn't see her post.
So she's one of the ones that I follow enough that in the 5 minutes that I get on Facebook, like there's like her and like 3 other artists that are at the top of my feed.
Top priorities.
And then I'm like, I'm not gonna listen. I'm like, there's nothing here for me. I'm done. So she did one about Anthrocon and about worrying about. I hope she's doesn't hear this and get mad that I'm talking about it. But she was talking about being worried about the money because like a bunch of other artists just had like their worst conventions ever in the last week. And I had pointed out that you need
Ostrafana, right? She's the one
correct.
doing Ostrafana.
Yes. Yeah, which is an amazing IP. I want to have her on for sure.
Yeah, that's so cool.
But I had mentioned that a lot of us are looking for other metrics of classifying what we consider a good show. So whether it's emails collected, whether it's connections that you've made, whether it's, you know, production houses you're talking to, or you know, all of the myriad of other things that are not money, which is hard, right? Because money fucking sucks right now. Like the economy is not great, but if you're chasing the dollar bill all the time, you burn out. And that is completely why I burnt out the first time. Is I was just like, you know, screw you, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you that I can make money as an artist and I'm going to chase money. And that really hurt me for a long time. And I think I crashed. So removing the money component, if you could do anything you possibly would want with your art, what would you do?
That's a good question. Right now, I don't really know. Um, I don't really know. Alexander Gustafsson, we had him on the podcast recently. He made a post earlier talking about like it's hard to feel creative when you have these economic pressures, and
For sure.
that's something that I'm feeling as well. There, and I think a lot of people are feeling these. Like it is hard to feel creative under a pressure cooker, right? Like we're all like in this giant pressure cooker. Artists we're feeling it financially from economic means, but also from creative means online. Like the social media is not serving the artist anymore; they're prioritizing AI,
Mm-hmm.
and those things are getting priority
Mm-hmm.
over what what we have contributed to the foundation of their
Oh, we built those
success.
platforms. We built
Yeah,
those
we
fucking
built those
platforms.
platforms. Yeah, the roots and the bones of the structures of those platforms were built off the backs of artists, musicians, and people who like people other people's creativity. So and
Here's
the
the thing
moments
though, is social media in and of itself has only really been around for about 15 years. And it's only been really useful for a lot of artists for the last, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, in the middle of that span of 15 years. And it's been a couple of years since it wasn't. So I remember before social media, I remember when shows were, that was where you collect, that's where you connected and met people, right? Was shows. And it's interesting because since I have unhooked myself from that identity, or whatever you want to call it, of being the artist that had X amount of followers. And I had one of the biggest dragon pages on Facebook for a really long time. I mean, at my peak, I had close to 120,000 followers. It's dropped now to like 106, 107,000, but I can't reach any of them. So once I let go of that and realized, okay, I've got to think back to what we were doing in the 90s as far as like shows and stuff in person, you know, like I just changing my thinking that way made a big difference in the hold that social media had on me.
yeah
Because I'm
yeah
not posting for likes. I'm not posting for, I don't really care if people see my art on Facebook or not right now, or
yeah I
Instagram or
don't
Threads or whatever.
I don't know the last time I posted art someplace. Like, and I think the last time I posted someplace was on Substack.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Substack's algorithm still is not tainted by the waters, and several people are still engaging there, and Facebook. Like, I think I posted on like just posted a reel on Facebook, but and it's an old reel, like it's not even new. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just to like it's like engagement, right? It's playing the game, and it's like I'm so tired of that game. It's an old game, and and if it's not like it's like these video game companies that are DLCing out they're DLCing people's lives out.
Mm-hmm.
You're like we gotta pay to play
Yeah.
when we've already and we are the product for them.
Yes.
And so
And loot
it's one of
boxes and
those.
everything. It's interesting because I just watched a video yesterday, because I still do like YouTube, but I fucking hate short form content. I do not watch reels. I only watch, if it's longer than 10 minutes, I'll watch it. If it's shorter than 10 minutes, I won't even bother. But there was a breakdown of the top MMOs, and there's MMOs have been kind of slowly dying over the course of the last couple of years. And that's World of Warcraft is an MMO. And World of Warcraft is still the number one MMO, and it is because it's just, there's a subscription fee. It's $15 a month, but you get the whole game. There's no loot boxes, there's no gambling, there's no pay to play, they have a store where you buy like mounts and outfits, but it's not game-changing behavior. And
Right.
the top several MMOs, like old school RuneScape was number 2, and that one came out in 99, I think, something like that. So, but again, it's that there's that swing back towards you know, the way an MMO is built, it's not a game that you can buy the cartridge, stick it in your game console, and play it. You have to play online with other people. But
Right.
that $15 a month gets me everything to play the game. It gets me updates for the next 2 years. I mean, I still have to pay for expansions, but everything else is included in that $15 a month, which is cheaper than a movie ticket now, right? And
Yeah.
I haven't played much in a while, but at my height, I was probably playing 15 to 20 hours a week, you know, so for $15. And it's the same as it
Depending on
was when
what
it
you
came
get,
out.
it's cheaper than going to McDonald's, depending on what you get.
Absolutely, exactly. Yeah, yeah, and you don't even get a fun Happy Meal toy anymore.
Right.
But what's up with that? But yeah, there's a swing back towards people just being tired of, you know, not getting what they're putting out. And I think, and I've said this before, I think we will see an uptick in shows, and we're already seeing an uptick in shows. Maybe not conventions. I think the convention crowd has popped. But outdoor shows for sure, Renaissance fairs, things like that are absolutely on the uptick.
I think in what was it? Sony just pulled their like the video game library from like physical format or something. Like they started pulling back. They started pulling back their games from physical format or something from PlayStation.
Wow.
Because I think like they think that nobody's like.
I mean,
I'm buying CDs still at like used stores and stuff. You know, they think that
I just replugged in the N64
or they're trying
to play
to
some
drive
Zelda.
or they're trying to drive a market to a specific place they want it to go. And,
that sounds more like it. Which is interesting because there's a whole uptick in Gen Z. I mean, CDs and DVDs sales went up for this year for the first time in 20 years. The new album that Camelot's about to release in August, they released it on a special edition tape, a cassette tape that you could get that is special edition, you know, and there's a push back towards physical media, and I think we're going to see that. And I think we've talked about this with
Steam. They're trying to compete with Steam.
Yeah, right. And
they can't do that if they have money going out for physical media.
Right. Yeah. But I think people are getting tired of experiencing the world through a 3-inch screen, right? Through just this little teeny tiny box. And you're clearly feeling it, and I've been feeling it. Like I said, there's nothing for me on social media, so I just haven't been. I don't think I opened Instagram once in the last 2 weeks.
Can you imagine? Well, you and I are both. We had experiences pre smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
We had experiences
pre-screen. Pre-Google.
Yeah,
pre-internet.
Pre-Google. Yeah. We are old enough to have these experiences that were interconnected and outdoor. Can you imagine what these like kids that I'm teaching, the kids that have grown up, like my daughter, who only ever experienced 60 to 70% of their dopamine through a screen.
Mm-hmm.
Through a screen, like, you know, because they have some outdoor experiences, some but not nearly enough. Not like we have. Not like staying out all day.
They never drank water out of a hose.
Never drank water out of a hose. Never had to get a tetanus shot for barbed wire going across your leg.
Yeah, I had that. Playing out on old farm equipment. Yeah, playing in the irrigation ditch. I don't know how we're not dead.
Or your mom yelling at you not to run on the bleachers and then in your head wide open.
Yep.
So we
going down metal slides and burning the whole way down.
Bad experience, and so I think that we have memories and connection that allow us to fight back against this a little bit easier, because we are aware of what it's doing to us. Like, I don't think they have no basis of comparison without it. So like,
Yeah, but I know like Gen Z, which is I think that's where your daughter's at, right? She's a Gen Z.
I think
People in their
2000,
20s now. Hmm?
born 2001. She's born 2001, so she's 24.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So I think that's right around Gen Z. Um,
Yeah,
because Gen Alpha's like 12 or 10 and under. So yeah. I'm not
generation.
entirely sure what the borders are, but it's something close to that. But I know like
Yeah,
a lot.
I know. I'm considered an elder millennial,
Yeah, me too. Yeah, or Zennial with
a
an X.
zennial. Yeah,
Zennial.
zennial. I kind of like that.
Xenial. Something like that. Yeah. I I don't know if it's just happens to be the Gen Zers that I'm exposed to, but a lot of them, like I work in the bookstore, and book sales are being driven right now by Gen Z. They're coming in buying stacks of book. The biggest section we have is intermediate, upper intermediate, young adult. Um, a lot of it is paranormal romance, but there because that's a big thing right now. But
Gotta have a sexy
they're,
werewolf
I mean, get a
or a
little
vampire.
minotaur milking farm in there, and we're good to go. Don't Google that. Don't listeners, don't Google
Oh,
that.
we're gonna get flagged. We're gonna get flagged for that.
That was
This
already going to
podcast
happen.
is not rated.
But it's more than that too. It's they're buying like manga. Like manga is making a huge comeback right now. And
Yeah.
anime hasn't gone away. Anime is big. I'm like anime adjacent. We watch some of the new stuff, but not a lot of it. I'm still like Akira Ghost in the Shell and Vampire Hunter D. Yes. But they're
I need to watch. I need
they're
to watch the original Vampire Hunter D thing.
it's so good. It's one of my favorite animes. The style alone is stunning. But yeah,
We
there's
should have a
there's a
movie
there's
watch
a big
party.
push towards
We should have like a anime movie watch party or something. That'd
I would
fun.
be so down with that. That'd be fun. Yes, we could do that. Uh there's a list of things that we need to watch because I need to get you to watch What the Bleep Do We Know and stuff too. Um It's all
There were
about
some
quantum
things.
physics. It's
There were
cool
some
stuff.
things. There were some things you haven't seen too. I think. I think there were some movies that you haven't seen. I'm pretty sure.
Possibly. I mean, there are movies out there that I have not seen, but they may not be
Specifically
worth
80s
watching.
movies. Specifically 80s movies that you should have seen by now.
Yes, I will. There's yes. I think Monster Hunters I hadn't seen until you were mentioning it, and then I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna watch it." And I was like, "Okay, that was pretty good."
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so I have hope, and I have like more hope in
Monster
getting
Squad.
off of
Monster Squad or Monster Hunters?
Monster Squad. I think is what it was.
Yeah, Monster Squad. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's like Goonies, but with like classic monsters.
Yes. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. But it all gives me hope, and like we talked to Heather Hitchman about some licensing stuff a couple weeks ago, and she was saying the same thing about wanting. And when Jeff came in, and my mother-in-law, they were all saying the same thing. They're trying to bring this experience to the viewer of the work, which is why, and I know I've mentioned this before, which is why I'm paying on metal with Lapidary. The little star for my polar bear came in, and it's so pretty. Like I'm like, ooh, this little star, and I'm about to buy like a bunch
You
of
were so
Swarovski
excited
crystals
about
for
that
it.
too.
I
You
am
were like
ridiculous. And
shinies,
it's so shiny, like a little magpie. And my like 41 karat topaz star came in today for the the fallow deer piece. So like
I'm just waiting for you to bejazzle out a painting and just have like little chains, like
like yeah, right.
tasseled up everywhere. Just completely
Not quite that
bejazzle it.
bad.
Look like a magpie just went through and just like decorated and painted.
There you go.
Like a
Yeah, I did
jackdaw.
buy little chips to embed in the artwork too, but it's trying to get an experience that AI or even just it doesn't even matter if it's AI or not. It's still the same experience through the box.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're looking at an amazing fucking piece by Brahm or the worst AI garbage you've ever seen. You're experiencing it through a tiny box, and that flattens the experience, right?
Yeah, and I think this may be part of it too. I look at so much art online, like I look at a lot of other people's art, and I'm a fan of a lot of other people's artwork and art styles, and but I think at the rate of consumption that I'm looking at it and not really appreciating what that
Yeah.
artist is doing, like it's like eating a bag of chips. It's empty calories, no matter how pretty it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Well, and the
it's like
scroll is the same, right? I know when Kindle just first came out, or within the first couple of years of Kindle coming out, the amount of people that were our age and a little bit older that would come in and go, I don't remember what books I've read because it's all on the Kindle. It's the same experience. You're not
yeah,
seeing the cover, you're not picking up the book. It's only one sense that you're working on. It's your sight and the scroll. So you're not
yeah.
carrying those memories
Well,
beyond
and
what you're
I know it's a
reading.
little bit. I know it's a little bit different for people with audiobooks, though. Like there are people that
Yes,
swear by there's swear like, but that's like listening to the radio. That's almost like listening to music. That's
it's
storing
an
it in a different part
experience
of the brain. Yeah.
completely.
So
Yeah, well, and I know, have you listened to the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobooks yet?
no, I'm actually I'm reading the books. So
Yes.
I'm I will I still love the feel of
Oh,
a
of
book
course.
and
Yeah.
everything like that. I do want to listen to it because I hear that it is
It's a
hilarious.
radio play.
Yeah, like a radio
It's
play. Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing. And I am a proponent of doing all the things because I'm physically reading it too. I'm only in book 1. I know I'm a little behind, but um and I've been really bad about reading because I've been like
Well,
crashing the fuck out when I get home. But yeah,
they get thicker every book.
that's, you
Like
know what?
it's like,
That is still I read Robert
but
Jordan.
they read quick
14
because
books
he's
at
such a quick
2000
read.
pages a book.
And it's nothing about like his writing because he's got like really fun accessible writing, but it's because the pace of the story is so
Mm-hmm.
quick. It's like being on an action adventure, like
Mm-hmm.
a fantasy dungeon crawling action adventure, and it goes like you imagine how it goes like at a faster pace. So
Right.
uh kind of read it
But I
at
think
a faster.
that pegs exactly what we're talking about of people are looking, they're still looking for good stories and they're still looking for good experiences. And
Yes.
there are people that have not read a book in 20 years are picking up Dungeon Crawler Carl. And we saw, I'm going to say it, we saw the same thing with Harry Potter. We saw the same thing with oh my gosh, the, shoot. I completely lost the title of that book series.
Okay.
The
Game
dragon
of
one
Thrones.
with the Dragon Queen, with the Night Watch and the
Game of
ice
Thrones.
giants.
Game of
It was
Thrones.
a TV show. Game of Thrones. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Am I cutting out? Am I coming out? Audio cutting out?
Well, yeah, a little bit, but I have it turned
I
down to
said
not pick
Game
up
of
the
Thrones
echo.
like 3 times.
I know, I'm sorry. Yes, Game of Thrones. But they were all like experiences. So
Yeah.
and this was something else that I wanted to touch on a little bit. Again, it goes back to World of Warcraft because all things do. World of Warcraft is in the middle of a lawsuit right now with a private server, and there's a war between the fans. And what it is so this private server took all of World of Warcraft's assets and set up a private server, a game within that people could come in and play. They have since added to those private servers, so they've added new classes and new races and new starting areas and whatnot. But it's all using Blizzard's assets and
Right.
Blizzard's stories. So there's a lot of fans that are screaming about why is it that they can do all this stuff that Blizzard can't, and without realizing that the amount of time and energy that Blizzard still has to put in their base creations from the ground up, right? Their graphics and their style and their stories and all of that is where the core of what they're doing, and they're looking at the long game, so they're releasing stuff slowly. Where Ascension, which is the name of this private server, just dropped 21 different classes, and who knows if they're balanced, and who knows if they're gonna,
Yeah.
how is it that you add skills past the max level and all this other stuff. The point is that it's amazing what you can do when you have the base stuff figured out. It's the same thing with the Enchanted Blossoms, right? I've got the next 8 things figured out, but it's because I have all the graphics and the look and the feel of the brand done. And now I'm just building into it without having to worry about, now I have to sit down and make 30 new paintings, right? And we
Your
don't
Lego kitting
realize.
you're expanding off of like off of the products and stuff. Like you're essentially uh, doing what, like, you've been kind of training yourself to do, working with the licensing. You're just like, I know you're like, I know what licensing is. I've seen it done. I know like the different things that can be done with it. So why not do it?
Right. But it's still that core story. Like that's the important part, is the story and the world building and the understanding. And this is what like the AI tech bros don't understand. They think they have an idea, they can throw it out there, they just run it through AI and it's done. But they don't understand story crafting, and they don't understand what makes a good painting, what. And it's getting closer and closer, but it still is missing the mark on the humanism, right? You get all of these people. I mean, even we were talking to one of Jason's friends, and he was like, well, your Kickstarter did so well, just make a game and then do an expansion every 3 months. And it was like, okay, first step is make a game. What the fuck? Right? Like the work that's involved in step 1, make a game, is ridiculous, and people just don't understand that. And I mean, the biggest game in the world right now, computer game, is Minecraft. And it's letting people sandbox, it's letting people build, but they've done the hard part. They've done the stories and the bricks and how to harvest those bricks and all of that other stuff. You just fill into the world and make it your own, which is brilliant. But AI is kind of the same thing. They just take what we've already done and make it your own. So people that are still crafting good stories and can work from the ground up, I think, are still very important.
I think we're important too. And I think I think that's what who was it? Don Bluth. I just saw something with him say, like, we're human beings. We are the ones that have the capacity to create new things, and AI cannot do that. AI cannot create new things. Like there are, it can vibe code and it can do all this really interesting stuff. But when it comes to the human experience, it only has the input that we give it. So,
Yep.
that's the thing. If we choose not to give it our input and essentially just save that for a personal experience, like no AI model backed your Kickstarter. Did you know that? No AI model has a personal bank account and purchased Enchanted Blossoms.
It was interesting because I had a few people reach out, and they kind of asked me if I used AI from the side. Like, they didn't come out and just be like, hey, did you use AI to do this? It was like, so tell me about how you made the content for the book. Like, I can see that you did the illustrations, but like, do you have it listed somewhere where you got your flower meanings from? And I was like, yes, I used a public domain book from 1846 by Kate Greenaway. It's available. It's almost 200 years old. It's 180 years old now, and it's available online, and it's public domain. And I say that in the copyright information, so you can look it up yourself. No AI was used in the creation of this book, and it was like, great, I'll go back it. But it was that was kind of cool.
And isn't that the most offensive thing, though, that AI will take what's in public domain, not give credit to where they found it, but you will give credit to the fact you did not come up with these words. They were written by someone in what, the 1800s?
1846.
So in 1846, wrote these words, and you may have adapted it for modern times, but like you still we still give credence to the work that was done. Person's long dead that wrote it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and I didn't have to because it's in the public domain. I didn't have to do
right,
that, but I chose to because I didn't want to. You know, I want credit for the art, not the words.
right.
Yeah.
So, I think the shitty thing about AI is that it gives no like
It gives no
thought to that.
fucks.
It gives no fucks to that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where's this information coming from, or where did these ideas come from? I mean, and they've integrated it with search engine style, like a search engine style shopping experience. Questions like you would a search engine, you can shop from it like you would anything. They're trying to turn it into like
A one
this is the
stop everything.
yeah, this is the first place you'll go to get all your answers or to get anything that you might need. It will do for you. And it's like, that's not really like, that doesn't have good competition. Like, I honestly think Facebook worked a lot better for everyone when Google was still, and Twitter. Twitter has, I found I connected with a lot of artists through Twitter when Twitter was Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when Google at least was attempting to be a competitor, um, like Facebook tried harder to give us
Yeah.
what we want, and now it doesn't have to try as hard, and so it doesn't.
Well, that's the very definition of enshittification is to go in, take over everything, and then make it crappy. Because where else are you going to go?
Right? Yeah. Well, we don't have to. We don't have to really provide you with everything that you want. We provide you with everything that our constituents want you to have, or
Mm-hmm.
or the people that are paying us more money want you to have.
Yeah.
Instead of like providing you the services that that like we provided you to begin with, but we just kind of like let them get shittier.
Yeah. But people are
Enshittification, it's a
definitely,
word.
yes. Yeah, exactly. And but I think people are hungry for more. I mean, look at how well heavy metal did. Heavy metal quit putting out magazines a couple of years ago and then did a Kickstarter and it blew up.
Oh
And
yeah,
not only that, they have their own forum now and they're like, I'm on the email list, so I get like 3 or 4 emails a day from them about what's happening on the forum, and they released a bunch of back issues. And I think, again, it's just if we can reach people without using social media, I think
well,
we'll be okay.
I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised even with the cost. Comic books are still doing fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different independent sources of comics now, and even the big two are still producing a healthy amount of comics. Now I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if the job itself is healthy. If it's people are able to pay their bills with what they're paying them, but I do know that there is a lot of production on the comic book side of things.
Yeah.
So
I
and
I
ind-
find it.
and independent comics, people are making. I see more smaller presses. I see more smaller presses making things and collaborating.
People are
That's
making
one.
zines, Alan.
That's one thing that
Zines.
God, you and the fucking zines. Oh, that's one thing that I think that we have as human beings, that we have on AI, and really the inputters of AI, because the inputters of AI are inputting because they don't want to
Mm-hmm.
collaborate, or they want
Yeah.
to, or they just want to create a collaborator to do the work.
Yeah.
Where whenever we have human beings that come together and collaborate to make a small press,
Mm-hmm.
to develop something, you have the ability to have a full range of ideas gestate and become something new, and really produce something pretty cool that wasn't there before. And unfortunately, with AI, that is hollow and lacking when it tries to collaborate, because
Of course.
it just doesn't understand the human experience overall. So
You know what I find fascinating, and I just made this connection while you were talking, is from the art point of view and from the seeing what's happening point of view and from the watching other artists point of view, I'm seeing a renaissance of creativity right now. I'm seeing people that are breaking the mold. Yes, they're making zines, they're making their own comic books, they're making art that is different from what it's been. Most of the artists that I know are moving back into traditional. Not only are they moving back into, they're leveling up. They're doing amazing freaking work. And it's fascinating that this is happening during a time when the economy is not great, when we're surrounded by AI, when these people and these companies and these organizations and everything are trying to keep us isolated so they can take our attention and sell to us and just shove ads down our throats all the time, right? For the last few years, I have felt like a walking piggy bank. Like that's all I'm good for is feeding some capitalistic machine. And that sounds very doom and gloom. But at the same time, I'm looking around and I'm seeing all of these little pockets of artists that are daisying up through or dandelioning up through the cracks in the system that are doing amazing stuff, right? And
oh
it's almost like we're forced to think out of the box, which is an artist's best playing field, is thinking out of the box. And it's fascinating that things are so hard right now, but I'm seeing some of the most amazing art that I've ever seen.
yeah, yeah, it's really good. And the people I see who are really investing in themselves and investing in traditional work, they're the ones who are enjoying what they're doing. They're enjoying the process. They're
Mm-hmm.
really or there's people who are creating an experience by doing something live. Like they're like
Yep.
we're trying to have an experience by talking and answering questions, but we're talking to each other, but we're also talking to our audience. And so like I see people out there, artists like Dave Raposa, and I think it's his wife that's usually on there with him. But he's drawing and doodling and stuff, and they're having conversations. They're building like their networks of people. They're building their base. They're building the people
Mm-hmm.
that follow them, and providing an experience. And I think that's what people are hungry for. We're
Completely.
hungry. We're hungry for the experience of authenticity and connection.
Yeah.
Authenticity and connection are the hallmarks, I think, of what it is to be human. One of them, and that sensation. So, like, that's where we have to lean into. We have to lean into the connection and the
Mm-hmm.
experience.
I think that's a big reason why like the convention bubble is popping in a lot of ways, is because it went from an experience where you go and you can meet and talk to your heroes or the people that you like, and you do cosplay or you dress up or you get to buy stuff that you don't see everywhere else, and you're hanging out with your fellow nerds and things like that. And the niche cons are still doing well. So you have like your furry cons are still doing well. A lot of your smaller anime conventions are still doing well. Your literary cons that are usually pretty tiny are still doing well comparatively. But you have these big giant comic cons now where you have to stand in line for somebody that you watched on a TV show in 1972 to get a signature, and now you're in line for 2 hours or 3 hours, and then when you get there, you've got to spend $80 to $120 on a signature, and things like that. And you don't have these, you're not going to run into, Wesley Crusher in the middle of a convention walking from, one signing to the other, because now they're surrounded by, which is understandable, right? There's so many people at these things, and nerd culture has
Oh
gotten
yeah.
so big that they can do those things, but a lot
Well,
of the experiences of going to a convention are no longer there.
well, and at the bigger conventions too, I will say that the enshittification has reached even there to these convention heads who are
Yep.
prioritizing not the experience, but they're prioritizing like an insurance company getting a section in the or
RV bathtubs,
a cell phone company
MLMs.
getting a spot, and that's a spot that could have went to a creative, that could have went to an
Yeah.
artist, could have went to anybody else, but you decided to like you could get more money out of a business than a solitary artist. So like
Mm-hmm.
reduce the amount of artist space, jack up the prices on the artist spaces, and then provide and then commercial that's like 800,
Not even genre related.
not even genre related. Ask them to do a little bit of something. We got the as much like I think having a brewery inside of Comic Con is cool too. They had a great setup. They at least had a gamified something there at their thing that had something gamified going on where they would like you could roll a dice and they would tell you based off the stats like what artist creator you should go and buy their comic. So there was something really cool that they were at least teamed up doing at that thing. But like there's people there just selling like insurance and stuff,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so lame. Um, but yeah.
Well, and I think
So
that's why
like yeah,
Renaissance fairs are on the rise.
I think we have to protect our places where our experiences are authentic too, because you have to
Yeah.
protect it from AI. You have to protect it from people who are running their con not for the experience but for financial gain. Like yeah, you want to make like cons want to make money, but you also want it to be like a good experience that people want to come back to, not like
Yep. Grifter's
you
gonna
know
grift.
yeah, not grifters are gonna grift, because then you got like now we have like these smaller conventions are expanding out like where they were okay to be like okay to just be 1 day cons, now they're 2 day cons. Now you're raising the
Right.
price and the bar for everyone, which is you know okay. Some people, but then like artists have to creatives have to like make a decision. Okay, that's a two like we're having like cost analysis paralysis here, where we have to just decide: am I going to go to the smaller convention and spend 2 days there now, where I would have just did like that for 1 day, and it would have been fine. But like a lot of artists, like some artists were driving 18 hours just to be at Planet Comic Con because it was the biggest and I'm not sure if it was worth it for him to drive that far. So,
Mm-hmm.
but,
I mean, that's what I'm stuck doing a lot of the times too, living in Nowheresville, New Mexico. It's any show that's worth its salt is at least a 3 hour and usually a 9 to 10 hour drive away. I'm driving to Denver, Phoenix, and Dallas are all that 8 to 10 hours away, and that's where the bulk of my shows have been the last several years. Less so now. There's very few really good Ren fairs. It's not a multi-weekend Ren fair, and I can't do those yet. But it's still, now as you said, now you've got to put in travel fee and gas and hotel fee, and the hotels are all going up and gas is all going up and everything else that
mm-hmm.
I know for me, like at the tea shop that I have my gallery in, I do plan on creating some kind of a sketch afternoon or something once a week where other artists are free to come in and draw or, hang out or talk shop or whatever. So creating those small communities, I think, is something that's going to be, and third spaces, right? A lot of third spaces are kind of disappearing. So there's a push back towards creating third spaces. There's a guy in town who's a amateur filmmaker, and he came to the art opening, and I was like, hey, if you want a place to show your films and stuff, let us know, and we'll host him here. We'll bring in a couple of TVs. We'll, set it up. And he messaged me this morning. He's like, I want to do that. How do I make it happen? So he wants to do, he wants to showcase his films here when he finishes them and invite all of his friends to come watch him and stuff like that. I know, right? I'm like, heck yeah, that's awesome. And I'm really like, cool. Not just because my shit's on the walls here. I really want the owner of the tea shop to survive and thrive, because I want this to be a third space. And we've lost a lot of those, especially in a small town that doesn't really have much else going for it, right?
Well, and I think a lot of people would have time for more third spaces if they weren't working so hard. We're having to work extremely hard to make very little. And I think that as a country has to be economically addressed. We should not have to work so hard to have so little. Yeah. And so, but like, I mean, that's
that's not a problem we're going to solve on an art podcast.
That's the end of an end of a spectrum that we have. Individually, we have very little power of. Collectively, we'll have to handle that a different way. But
I think that ties into so many of us being so much more creative, though, as we are. I mean, artists and writers and poets and anybody that's in a creative field still has the power to sway hearts and minds, right? Like, we can still do pieces, even if you're not doing like big political statement.
With a zine.
Yes, with a zine, with an underground find your people zine. Absolutely. Yeah. Like we can still bring hope. Mm-hmm. We still bring hope. We still, give people something to hope for or wish for or see better in or connect or something. And that's.
I recently wrote a letter to the editor to my local newspaper about a defense for local journalism, and I think it can be expressed into periodicals too, like zines. Is that generations that look back are not going to look back and plumb the depths of the internet to know what a business did or to know what your hot take was. Like, nobody's going on MySpace to figure out who was effing who, back in the day, or posting weird stuff on our walls, which was like, MySpace was actually kind of fun back in the day, getting to like pimp your page out. But like, nobody's going to go back and do that. Or I think that like journalists or historians of the future will want a more vetted means. And so like my thing was like archaic newspapers and things like that, or zines and periodicals. They may be kind of
ephemera.
They seem kind of archaic compared to what like we have right now with this. But I think they are potentially better historically. Like, historically, people will know you were here because they will have a physical comic or a zine that you made, or a piece of artwork that you crafted that showed that you existed. Whereas, like, when they look back in human history, and like when the servers have turned off and we're no longer keeping these, like, the social media, like like when they pull the plug on X, when Grok doesn't make the money that it needs to satisfy Musk, and he pulls the plug on X to go off and live some existential AI universe or whatever he's going to do.
We can only hope.
Yeah, we can only hope. Is that, like, there will be a black hole of information where humanity. There will be a black hole, historical black hole, a singularity in in existence of human history, because we put all of our experiences online
And electronics,
and into our
something that doesn't
electronics.
have physical. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we rarely even print pictures anymore of our family members, anything else, like
Mm-hmm.
the things that are meaningful to us. Like there's some people that still do. There's still some people who are making the family photos and stuff like that because it's nostalgic and it's cute. But a majority of people just post what they ate for breakfast, post it online.
Yeah, I
Like
just saw an ad the other
even
day
I
for
like
a.
even I post my workout selfies and stuff like that, like on there. So I'm not immune to it either. But it's like we like why don't we write the paper or write like our like why don't we have a collective means of expressing, like, write the paper and be like here's the art that I made, or I wanted to share it with my community, or here's the thing that I made, and I want future generations to remember this. um,
Sounds to
Here's the
me like
thing
you need to make a zine. That's all I'm hearing.
Oh, geez. Sounds like you need
No,
a zine.
I think you're right.
So
I think we need to
yeah,
create
but
more artifacts.
the letter to the editor titled it "In Defense of Local Journalism." So
Nice.
he put a title to my letter to the editor, so it's kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
all for creating more artifacts.
I think more people should be utilizing their common means of communication, their community means of communication. They're like like an art newspaper or an art magazine. Like I remember when Imagine Effects was really awesome, and I know like it's still going, but like it seems to have kind of, I don't know, maybe my use of it had seemed filtered out. But like I connected with a lot of artists and networked with a lot of artists from Imagine Effects when it
Mm-hmm.
was pretty popular. I have this whole stack over here on this bookshelf is just like one whole, just
Yeah.
like they're not cheap magazines. Like it is a like, but it has a wealth of information. And when it was first coming out, it had a wealth of resources with it too.
Mm-hmm.
That actually came on disc.
Yeah.
Like they had it like coming on disc. So I mean,
Yeah. Well, the same thing with heavy metal, and like Sunshine Artist is still the premier fine artist magazine. You're not looking for other artists, you're looking for the shows. So a lot of the bigger shows are still putting in ads in Sunshine Artist and are still listed and are still making sure they're in the top 100s. And it's about, downtime in your booth to how to set up your tent to all of that other stuff. And that's still going strong for sure. I've got it. And once Kickstarter goes through, I'm going to get the physical copies of it because I have a hard time going to the Sunshine Artist website and flipping through the digital version of the magazine, where if I had the physical magazine, I would be more likely to sit on the couch and flip through that than I
with
would
a
the
highlighter.
Right? Yeah. Exact catalog circling like we did in the 90s. Like I want this and I want this. Yeah, exactly. But I see a huge push towards physical media, and I agree. I think like your local journalism and being involved, and we're all kept in these walled gardens, and radio stations are dying, and all this other stuff. And I think we're going to have to make an effort to either change that and see the new thing that comes along, because maybe it's not going back to old school magazines. Maybe it's something else. I don't know what that looks like or what it would be, but just changing something to a physical media on some sort, I think is still very important.
We should go back to iPods.
Right?
I
have an MP3 player. No, I keep an MP3 player by my bed because I don't want to keep my phone in the bedroom. So
that's great.
I have a dumb phone for taking notes at night. Like if I have a weird dream and I wake up, I can type it on the dumb phone that's not connected to the internet. And then I have an MP3 player that I bought that I listen to my various relaxing stuff that I listen to before I go to bed.
You still have MP3 players to purchase? That's cool.
Go look them up on Amazon.
Nice.
They're all from China, but they're not.
I don't want to buy
high quality.
from Amazon.
They're like $30.
Fuck Amazon.
Well, you can go, just Google search them or whatever. You can find them anywhere. But yeah, I bought a cheap one that, plugs in and the battery lasts for fucking ever. It's like a 20-hour, 30-hour battery life. I think I recharge it once every month or so. But it connects to the computer and I just drop MP3s on it. And...
Cool. Well, we're way over an hour here. So
yes.
we might want to wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up.
And now that my Kickstarter is over, I'll be better on uploading stuff. I think I'm a couple of episodes behind again because Kickstarter kicked my ass. But everything will be caught up by tomorrow.
Okay. And I will watch that thing that you sent me about the zine. So I will be caught up on zine.
It's not just about this anyway. You'll watch it.
I know.
I'll hunt you down.
I know.
Great. Thanks for joining us. It's been an amazing conversation. And remember that dragons might be scary, but they're also that's where the treasure is. I think I've left out a bunch of the outro before. Anyway, thanks for joining us on Here Be Dragons. Make sure to like, subscribe, and find us on the web at HereBeDragons, Artcast.com, Substack, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, YouTube, and anywhere else you listen. We will talk to you next time. Thank you, everybody.